like to welcome all the members of the 14th Budget and Finance Committee, the new council members, and also the returning members. And I pray that this will be an interesting and very rewarding year as the council continues to make Nashville a great place to work and live. So I would hope that we all will have a very interesting and rewarding time for the city. Before we start, Clerk Hall has asked that I mention to you, for the purpose of this meeting, the only button that you'll need to push, which is good, I guess, is the top right-hand corner is the request to speak. So that will be the only one you'll need for this meeting. Okay, first order of business. Can you hear me? It didn't sound like I'm coming through. Okay. First order of business, RS 2015-1, Councilman Pridemore as sponsor, approves an Amendment 1 to a grant from the Davidson County Mental Health and Veterans Court Assistance Foundation to Metro General Sessions Court to fund a Veterans Court to eligible veteran defendants for evaluations and treatments. Do I have motion duly seconded? Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. RS 2015-2 accepts sponsors Pridemore accepts a grant from the Davidson County Mental Health and Veteran Courts Assistance Foundation to fund a Veterans Court for eligible veteran defendants to receive assessment and orientation, stabilization, rehab, and aftercare. Any second? Duly seconded. Any discussion? Councilman Pardue, are you in the queue, or is this? Nope. Okay. Seeing no discussion, all in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. RS 2015-3, Pridemore and Pardue are sponsors, approves an application for the 2015 Homeland Security Grant from the state of Tennessee and team of the Metro government. Duly seconded. Any discussion? Council Lady Weiner.
Hello. Thank you, Chair. I appreciate it. Question. The $244,000 that's being awarded, is that specific to Davidson County? That's specific to us, so that's not having to be divided between the other counties or apart?
Portion.
That's our piece of it. Okay. Does it meet our needs sufficiently?
Department.
The police?
Onto that.
Homeland.
Anyone from?
Anyone from the police or emergency management would like to address that concerning the Homeland Security Grant? Going once?
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the question?
There was a question, Council Lady Weiner.
Does the $244,000 meet our needs?
Yes, absolutely, they do. It was just a reoccurring. We get this once a year, and of course, we always would like more, but it does meet our needs.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Chair.
Seeing no others in the queue, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. RS 2015-4, Pridemore and Pardue as sponsors, accepts an Edward Bryan Memorial Justice Assistant Grant from the U.S. Department of Justice to the Metro Police Department for technology upgrades, supplies, in-service, and specialized training. Duly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. RS 2015-5, Pridemore as a sponsor, approves an Amendment 2 to a grant for the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency and the Metro Board of Health to fund ongoing programs to protect air quality to achieve established ambient air standards. Motion duly seconded. Any discussion? Council Lady Allen. Hold on, I'm learning this too. Okay.
Thank you. I just wondered, if I read this right, this is a $3,000 reduction. I just wondered why.
Mr. Sharp?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Congratulations on your reappointment.
Thank you.
It is what they call a rescission, and it has to do with federal budgeting, and there's no way on earth I'm ever going to be able to explain that to you. But it's not a part of the sequester. It's a different thing. It actually is not costing us anything. That's a matchable grant. We never get to that level anyway. We weren't going to see it anyway.
That answered the question. Seeing no one else in the queue, all in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. RS 2015-6, Pride and Ward sponsor, approves a 3-member facility agreement between Metro Board of Health, East Public Health Center, Lentz Public Health Center, and the Woodbine Public Health Center, and the Minnesota Multi-State Contracting Alliance for the pharmacy to purchase vaccines at a discount rate. Duly voted and seconded. Any discussion? Council Lady Weiner.
Thank you again, Chair. Given all the information out there about issues that we've had across the country, discounting pharmacies and getting vaccines and other medications at a discounted rate, who actually has vetted this company and their processes?
Mr. Sharp?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's really just a way to aggregate purchasing power. The drugs that they buy are not like the ones that they put together, the compounding or anything like that. We buy standard issue things. It's just by joining with other states, we get it cheaper.
Okay, so it's bulk purchasing.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no others in the queue, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. RS 2015-7, Pride and Ward as a sponsor, accepts a Tennessee cooperative agreement from the State of Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services to the Metro Social Services Commission to enhance development treatment service systems. Do I have a motion? Duly seconded. Any discussion? Council Lady Weiner.
Thank you, Chair. Do we have any statistics on the outcomes for prior years?
Is it from social services?
Has it been successful? And if so, how?
Hi, I'm Will Conley with the Homelessness Commission. So we partnered with the state last year to apply for this grant for the first time, and we just got it going this year. So they've worked with close to about 60 folks so far. These are people who are going from the streets into housing and trying to be successful in housing, so making that transition, which is sometimes pretty difficult. Only a couple of people have fallen out of housing so far, so it's going pretty well. But this first year, almost a year, has been just getting the program off the ground. We have 2 more years to go, as long as it keeps getting renewed. And we also applied for an expansion grant, but so far, so good. Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Seeing no others in the queue, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. RS 2015-8, Pride Moore and Henderson are sponsors, appropriates $250,000 for a grant between the Metro Nashville Public Library and the Oasis Center to provide college access services for the Nashville Scholars Program. Duly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. RS 2015-9, Pride Moore sponsor, accepts a grant from the Keep America Beautiful UPS Foundation to Metro Public Works to reduce levels of carbon dioxide and greenhouse gas emissions through the strategic planting of trees. Motion duly seconded. We have discussion. Council Lady Allen.
Thank you. Just wondered where those trees were going, how those sites are chosen. Thank you. Sharon Smith from Metro Public Works. Those trees are actually going in Councilman Syracuse's district. It was started by the previous council person, so all those trees are going to be over there in that area. That's in the Donaldson area.
Thank you, appreciate it, Ms. Smith. Seeing no other discussion, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. RS 2015-10, Pride Moore as a sponsor, approves an application for the 2016 Severe Repetitive Loss Buyout Project from Tennessee Emergency Management Agencies to the Metropolitan Government. Do I have a motion? Motion duly second. Any discussion? Council Lady Allen, are you? Nope. Okay. Council Lady Dowell?
Thank you. I just had a quick question to ask. Do we know how many homes we have left that are applying through this buyout program? I just remember we had it come up last session. I was trying to get an idea of
We have
where
someone
we are.
from Stormwater. Mr.
Thank you,
Palco.
Mr. Chairman. I'm Tom Palco. I'm the engineer with Metro Water Services. I'm the stormwater coordinator. We've done these kind of grants with FEMA through a number of years. This particular grant is the first one that's termed severe repetitive loss, and that's FEMA's terms, is that these houses all have had flood insurance. They've all had at least 4 losses of $5,000 each. So these are the only 5 properties that qualify for that particular program, but we still have hundreds of houses across the county that we could eventually get to and buy if we so choose in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Palco. Seeing no others in the queue, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. RS 2015-12, Pride Moore as a sponsor, authorizes the Department of Law to compromise and settle the personal injury claim of Heath Hayes against Metro Government in the amount of $19,000. All duly seconded. In discussion? Seeing none? Nope, excuse me. Councilman Mendez.
Chair, I just want to ask Metro Legal to describe a little bit about the settlement and why they think it's reasonable.
In this particular matter, it was determined that clearly there's liability on the metropolitan government in reference to the officer, and I believe that is explained in the summary that is provided to you. As to the settlement amount, the gentleman had special damages, which primarily medical expenses, which come to roughly $13,400. And we're proposing a settlement of $19,000, which has been agreed to by the plaintiff. I would think that when you have that amount of damages from a medical point of view, to be able to resolve the matter for $19,000, the department determined that was a good way to settle this matter.
Okay, thank you.
Seeing no other in the queue, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. RS 2015-13, Pride Moore is a sponsor, authorizes the Metro Department of Law to compromise and settle the wrongful death claims of Catherine Neitlinger as next of kin of decedent Michael David Jones against Metro government in the amount of $150,000. Duly approved and seconded. Any discussion? Councilman Mendez.
Same question for Metro Legal for this one.
We do have some from the Sheriff's Department, if you...
If you're looking at it from the perspective of why do we feel as though this is a good settlement, unfortunately you have a gentleman who is deceased as a result of this. The liability, it appears, certainly if it were to go to court, would fall back upon the metropolitan government. Under the Governmental Tort Liability Act, there is a $300,000 cap in a situation like this. But But in this particular case, because of the circumstances involved with the gentleman, when you look toward recovering pain and suffering, it was a relatively short period of time of pain and suffering, although it was certainly extreme. You look at the pecuniary value of his life, it's kind of cold to look at it this way, but the gentleman at the time was living at the Nashville Rescue Mission. He did have a job. He was trying to turn things around. When you take those factors, the plaintiff's attorney agreed that, as opposed to going any further in this matter as far as litigation, that considering all the factors, the $150,000 would be acceptable to them. Considering the fact that the department sincerely felt that if it were to go to a judicial decision, that we would be very fortunate to come out with anything less than $200,000 and possibly the max, that the $150,000 was a good settlement.
Thank you.
Councilman Glover.
This is for the Sheriff's Department. Commander or Chief, I know that due to the circumstance of this, I think you guys have put in place some, I guess, watchful considerations to where this doesn't happen again. Would you mind just kind of sharing with us what's taking place in the Sheriff's Department to try and avoid this as we go forward?
Yes, I would. First of all, I'd like to say congratulations to the council, some of the new members, and those that are returning. My name is Tony Wilkes. I am the Chief of Corrections. Councilman Glover, you're absolutely correct. One of the things we did, we discontinued the use of the old expectorant shield, what I think is referred to as the spit hood in this particular document. It has none of the warning signs that is also noted in this document. We also wanted to clean up some of the systemic issues with our policy that we felt was in gray areas, and we wanted to clean up some of those slippery slopes for our staff to ensure this doesn't happen again.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councilman. Council Lady Gilmore.
Thank you. My question is for Mr. Wilkes, too. It's just a follow-up as it relates to training. It's good to hear that you did some systemic things, but just about the training for the gentleman, for the people that would take him.
Yes, ma'am. Council Lady Gilmore, one of the things we did, the particular expectorant shield we went to doesn't require any real training. It's almost like sliding on a sock. You slip the sock on. There's no external pieces to this expectorant shield. It has a mesh sheer front, and it just simply sits over top of their head, up against their shoulders.
Thank you. I guess my question was, if someone's spitting, like, how do they handle that from now on?
Oh, yes.
Moving forward.
Oh, yes, ma'am. One of the things is we believe that the actual officers involved in this incident, they responded according to policy. They did everything reasonable that we expect them to do according to their policies. They was responsive. We saw no malice in their reaction. What we believe is the issue with the expectorant shield, with the warning sign, is something that we have to deal with moving forward.
Thank you. Councilman Davis.
Thank you, Chair. And I didn't want to beat the dead horse here, but if I'm understanding correctly, the spit hood thing, there was a very, very, very small chance of asphyxiation in the past, and do we feel like we've completely eliminated that chance?
Yes. One of the things I can say, these type of protective devices are used across the country in things that we do. One of the things that we learned after the incident, that the medical examiner concluded that the expectorant shield did not restrict the airway or prevent anything that was going on with Mr. Jones during that particular incident. So we do not believe that the expectorant shield in its application, and even the one that we're moving towards, would even cause those kinds of concerns.
Thank you, Mr. Wilkes. Seeing no others in the queue. All in favor of the motion? Opposed? One opposed? Motion passes. Before we conclude the budget agenda, I just want to, as many of you know, Mr. Cooper, this is Mr. Cooper's last Budget and Finance meeting representing the council body. And for those of you watching on Channel 3 may not know that Mr. Cooper is moving on to the Metro Department of Law, Metro Government Department of Law. And so that's a great asset to Metro government, but it's a loss to us. But we know, knowing for those who are returning, know how invaluable you have been to the council and to this committee. We're so appreciated for all you've done, and just wanted to wish you congratulations and goodwill in your next position with Metro government. I know you'll do well.
I'll still be around.
Yeah, and he will be around. I just want to thank you. With that, that concludes the agenda.